Welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Cultural Economies interviews with our intermediaries and shapeshifters in the film and digital media sector. My name is Avril Jaffe. I'm at the University of the Witwatersrand and running the South African Hub on film and digital media. And my role today is very pleasurable. I get to introduce you to Andile Sinqoto, who is the chair of the Independent Directors Association, as well as a filmmaker in his own right. And I'm going to ask Andile to introduce himself.
So basically, my name is Andile Sinqoto, as you have introduced me. I'm based in Cape Town. I'm a film director. I'm a film and TV director. So starting from the question, talking about my journey in the film industry. So basically, I started in the industry like 2006 or 2007. That was like 18 years ago. I'm not sure. Started like everyone else, like as a PA. Obviously, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the industry when I started. I didn't just join the industry for the sake of being in the film industry. I knew that I wanted to be a director. So for me to be a director, I needed to, understand all types of the departments in the industry. So I've worked as a PA. I've worked in the lighting department. I've worked in the grips department. I've worked in production, just to get myself understanding all these types of departments, so that when I'm finally becoming a director, I'm an all-rounder director. So done all of that, did AD work as well, to doing directorial photography, to being a director now, to being a full-time director. Started my own company. I joined the industry 2006 or 2007, and then I opened up my company in 2016. My own company, 2016, which is Andy Dasoul Multimedia. After opening up my company, but then when I opened up my company, I was still a freelancer. And then it got to a point now, after some couple of years, I stopped freelancing, focusing directly on my company, which we are more on music videos and TV commercials, documentaries, servicing. So that's my background.
Thank you so much, Andile. I think it's always interesting to hear how many steps there are along the journey. And so thanks for elaborating that. Can you talk a little bit about what made you decide to set up the Independent Directors Association? What motivated that decision?
The reason for that, which is most of the people they don't want to hear, it was more of a racial issue, which I felt some of us as Black people in Cape Town we're not getting enough opportunities to get into that realm of being a director. You would work as a PA, work yourself up to first assistant director, but then it's almost like there's this ceiling that you can't, go over once you want to be a director. And most of us Black people, some of our friends and brothers and sisters would go to Joburg, because they felt like in Joburg they have more opportunities, of being a director. And one of the other things is that you have students who come from universities who've studied like for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, hard-working students doing directing, and then when they finished their studies and then coming into the industry, and then they will be regarded as interns after studying 4 years, almost like the 4 years that they've studied accounts to nothing. So those are some of the reasons why we've started the Independent Directors Association. Also to obviously, I think on our first part, I did speak about some other challenges that the industry is facing, which we are focusing more on at the moment, which is opening up more doors for young and up-and-coming directors, holding and hosting all of these workshops, all of these classes, directing classes, these directing workshops, cinematography, directing, DOP workshops, for those who can't afford to go to school, for those who don't have, because it's hard now to get into the film industry because it's a lot of us, So, and there are a lot of those like from our townships, Kylie, Chalanga, Nyanga, who would want to be in the film industry, but they don't know how. They don't have the connections I had. They don't have the connects that I had, and they don't have money to go to school. So opening up these small workshop, these small training sessions, for such people, because I've got knowledge now, because I've worked with some of the best directors when I was still freelancing, when I was still an AD and a DOP, just to opening up more doors for them and stuff like that. And also we have our student program, which we accept. We were supposed to start this year, but because of funding, we had to delay. Where we opening up doors for more of young, like as I mentioned, those who can afford to go to school. Get them being taught, get them being coached, being mentored. Being mentored and being coached by some of the best, because I have a huge, because as in our association, we have so many directors. Some of the directors, they've got like world-class CVs, So utilizing, all of that connection to help and uplift and grow those, those less fortunate, those who don't have money to go to school, those who didn't have the contacts that I had when I was coming up, But now, Independent Directors Association, I remember when I went to Durban Format last year, I spoke about the issue of, less opportunities, the less opportunities for Black people, for women who wanted to be directors, for Black people and women who wants to be directors. For instance, for example, if you come to Cape Town, for instance, myself, every time when I'm doing a job in Cape Town, someone will always be shocked that I'm a director and I'm based in Cape Town, So, and I've been approached by many people to go to Joburg, but I've refused to go to Joburg and work, but I want to remain in Cape Town. So we just want to open up that door for young Black people as well as for women who wants to be directors as well, because women Black directors and young Black men directors as well. You'll find a lot of white directors in Cape Town, white women directors, white male directors, but plus minus 2% Black. If there are any Black directors in Cape Town, it's those that, they've been given an equity partner by a white-owned company, just as a front. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to create a community where everything is equal in Cape Town. That's why I started. That's the main focus. That's the main reason I started this, because I wanted to see an equal film industry in Cape Town when it comes to the directing department, camera department.
And as you're speaking, I'm recalling that when we started working with the cultural industry growth strategy in the late 1990s, the biggest issue in the film industry was a lack of transformation. And here you're speaking now in 2023, saying the same thing. And that's really depressing, isn't it? And as much as you're focusing as well on creating opportunities for young Black entrants into the sector, as well as breaking the glass ceiling for women and for men as directors, I know you're also very passionate about the poor working conditions in the film industry. Can you tell us a little bit about what are the biggest challenges you're facing in the working conditions that you are experiencing in the sector?
Yeah, the working condition has always been the issue, in those long working hours. You would work 17 hours on a film set. Sometimes you work 17 long hours, and then you would be expected to be back on set in less than 5 hours. Those working, condition. The thing is that our producers. This is a national issue. The working condition thing. It's not just a Cape Town issue. It's a national film industry issue. The problem is that these producers, they make up, because of the film industry doesn't have unions, doesn't have like guilds that come up with these, sets of rules that makes everyone to abide by these rules. We don't have those things. So the only thing that happens now is the producers, they make up these rules that works for themselves and works for their clients and works for their funding partners. And some of these, the most painful thing, some of these funding partners are your government entities, like your National Film Video Foundation. So it's the way I'm so disgusted by NFVF. It's on another level, because I had a meeting with them about this issue, addressing this issue with the CEO of National Film Video Foundation, as well as their stakeholders manager. And they promised that we're going to have a meeting where they were going to arrange a meeting again with us, with the DTI, so that we can talk about this and see. And they never got back to us. You know, the lack of interest for them to see a change, to see transformation in our industry, because they've got the tools, they've got the keys. Because these people, they give money to these film production companies. You know, they can set up the rules. Just to make an example, they can say, okay, they can come up with rules to say, listen, anyone that applies, you know, for funding, these are the stipulations for the funding. You know, we expect you to work, to treat crew like this. We expect you to, you know, to abide by these rules, and we expect you as well in terms of the equality in the industry. We're expecting you guys at least to have at least 50% HODs black, 50% HODs white on all of your sets, and then those HODs can decide who they want to hire. But as long as the big roles, you know what I mean, they can equal each other. They can equal each other, you know. But they never showed interest. Send them hundreds of emails after that, but they never got back to us. We spoke to them about the working conditions, how our crew has been treated on set, how these producers, how these first ADs speaks with crew. You know, in our film industry, your job is not, you can sign the contract that you have a job for the next 6 months on a movie, but you can be fired tomorrow. And the government is not going to do anything about that, because these producers have the law to themselves with their funding partners and with their clients, because all these rules that they are making, they work for their pockets and they work for their clients, not for the crew.
And,
you know,
and as you say, public money through the NFVF or IDC or government directly can help set up the conditions under which that public money is given. And that is a very good way to then ensure that there's some adherence to at least certain decent working conditions on set.
Exactly.
Time for rest, time for lunch, time, you know, all those sorts of things that you're speaking about. So you're absolutely right to be pointing to the role that these agencies, public agencies, play. And I know on that level that you are also, as the Independent Directors Association, collaborating with other organizations in the film industry, like the Writers Guild of South Africa. Tell us a little bit about what you want to achieve by collaborating on these issues, and who you're currently approaching apart from the NFVF as well.
So no, the NFVF is just a myth thing. So I'm not even looking at them at the moment, because they're useless. I'm sorry to say this, but NFVF, they're useless when it comes to trying to bring transformation into the industry. They're completely useless. So the people that we currently collaborating with now, we have collaborated with the Writers Guild, collaborated with South African Guilds of Actors, which is our biggest partner at the moment, because we share the same values with them. Our other partners, you know, we share the same views with them, but there's no action. You know, it's all talk. But when it comes to, let's come together so that we can tackle this disease or this sickness in our industry, you know, there's no action, which I understand, because they will take action. Some of us will go hungry. Suddenly, our applications won't be funded. Suddenly, we won't get jobs. Producers, I completely understand that. But you know, the bravery of SAGA, which is South African Guilds of Actors, has has over exceeded my expectations when it comes, because I had given up. I come to the conclusion that now I can see why this disease have lasted so long in the industry, because everyone knows everyone knows the sickness, everyone knows the disease, everyone, all these film stakeholders, all these film associations, organizations, they know it. But the problem, I think the fear is to, I think the fear is not to burn their bridges, because their company is depending on these government sectors, which these government sectors, government money is public money. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be fearing of how to voice, to voice how we feel and the issues that we have in the industry, simply because of we're afraid that a certain person from a government sector won't approve, because that's public money. So we've partnered with SAGA, and now SAGA is one of our biggest partners. I can tell you right now. I can't go further on what we are currently working on, but trust me, we are working on big things. AIDA, which is Independent Directors Association, and SAGA, we are working on big things. We make sure that at least once a week we have a meeting, at least a month, twice, 2 meetings a month, have a meeting, and we're planning to have some events where we will be having some of the government sectors, producers. We're planning a roundtable soon, where we'll be inviting the media, inviting some of the biggest politicians, some of the, talking about these issues. We'll be now it gets to a point where we have to involve politicians into this issue, because no one wants to do anything about it. We didn't want to take it that route. We didn't want to do that. But now we have to involve them in this conversation, because no one wants to take responsibility. No one wants to take responsibility on it. Because I can tell you, when I approach NFVF and approach Department of Arts and Culture, no one knew. All of them, they acted as if they didn't know what was happening in the industry. 2023. Acted as if they didn't know that our crew members are being treated badly on sets. Our crew members are being extra worked on sets. They've been treated like slaves. They've been less paid. They've been less paid. They've been treated like slaves on sets. I was reading another message now on WhatsApp. 2 people saying that. The other one saying that they left. I think the last year they left a set where they were signed for 9 months. After 3 months, they left because of the conditions. The other person says that it's coming from a huge set where his she went into another mental breakdown, had to go and see some psychologist, and had some, that's how toxic is our industry. And it shouldn't be like that. It's simply because these producers, they think they are the law in our industry. They think they are the law simply because of all these government sectors are giving them power. So I can say that now, AIDA, which is Independent Directors Association, with SAGA, we are working on big things at the moment, and we are working on addressing these issues on bigger platforms, and we are working on. We are currently in talks with the Department of Labor and Employment at the moment, because there are some policies that needs to be changed. There are some few things that needs to be put in order. We need a union in the film industry. We need some sort of like a union, it doesn't have to be a union, but some sort of like an entity, like more like a union, where everyone will take responsibility if you don't apply with certain rules. We've sent our proposals to the Department of Arts and Culture, to the what do you call this, to the Department of Employment and Labor, and as well as SAGA, they've sent their own as well. So now the two of us are going to be going together to the Department of Employment and Labor and the Department of Human Rights as well. So to address these issues, come up with some policies, come up with some rules, come up with some formal rules, formal policies that works for actors, that works for our crew and everyone, in our industry. So that's what we are currently working on now. And they are promises, because there's some other big organizations that have joined the conversation. But everyone will know at the right time who is involved in this and what we have been working on and what's the progress.
Thank you, Andile. I think you've really underscored the importance of intermediaries in the organization to act on behalf of your members and the whole film industry to the powers that be that can make a difference, such as the Department of Labor and Employment and so on. So thank you for sharing not only your outrage, but also your passion in supporting the sector to make it more robust and to ensure that it grows and goes from strength to strength. And I think from us, from the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies, we can only applaud you and wish you very well on this journey that you're on.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.